Alright guys, I'm here to talk about corporate Kane. Okay, last Monday night from last week, we saw Kane come out. He called out Stephanie McMahon. He told Stephanie that, how she destroys people and stuff like that, and how she been acting with the authority. And he pretty much tells Stephanie, that you want a monster to at least, well, the monster is now yours. And he takes off his mask and hands his mask to Stephanie, and Stephanie raises it up in the air. And we're all like, okay, what does this mean? Does this mean Kane's in the authority or not? Or is this the end of Kane? What? So Monday night this week, at the end of the show, while the Shield and Randy Orton and the rest of the authority, Triple H and Stephanie, was out there attacking Big Show started getting the upper hand. All of a sudden we heard Kane's music. So this pretty much confirmed. And then we heard on Twitter, Kane was saying it was best for business and stuff. So we pretty much knew Kane was in the authority, aka the corporation now. So Kane comes down in a suit. Okay, and it shocked everybody. It shocked us all. We didn't expect Kane to come out in a suit. We expected Kane to come out, but we expected him to come out as probably in his wrestling gear, but without his mask, because Stephanie had it. Or maybe he was going to debut a new mask. But instead, the dude came out in a suit. He had a suit, he had a fade, his hair was all edged up, the corporate look. He walks down to the ring. He came out to his music, his same monster music, but he came down in a corporate suit. And we're like, okay, so Kane's in the corporation now, he in the authority. What is he gonna do? And so next thing you know, during the whole time they're beating down Big Show, we see Kane handing the Shield and Randy Orton chairs. And so the chairs were all into play, and then we saw, Kane helping Triple H take apart the announce table so that the authority could slam Big Show through the table. And they did. And so the show ends with the whole authority and the newest member to the authority, Kane, all standing tall over the Big Show. Now, here's the deal. You see, okay, Kane, we know from back in the Attitude Era days that Kane was in the corporation. He was in the first corporation, but the first time he was in it, he was pretty much blackmailed into it. He either could be in it or he had to be in an insane asylum, and Kane didn't want to do that. So when Kane was first in the corporation, he always wore his mask, and he was the monster. And he was in the corporation for a while. He was like they doing their dirty work and stuff, and then eventually he left the corporation and went back on his own. So that's how that ended. Now people are like, a lot of people are mad right now. Like, they're really mad because they're like, man, Kane wearing a suit, man, no, man, they're gonna kill Kane's character. They're gonna kill Kane's character. This is bad for Kane. But is it really bad? See, we don't know that. See, before I get to that point, I want to get to another point, and that's about people comparing the Kane corporate look to Joseph Parks. See, if anybody knows the difference between Abyss and Kane is, they both have different stories of coming into the game. Abyss, he was pretty much a crazy person his whole life, and that's how he became the guy he is. And Kane's backup story was, he got burnt by the Undertaker, their parents died, and that's how he came into the game. Well, see, everybody knows that, no disrespect to anybody who's a TNA fan, because I'm a TNA fan too, and a WWE, I'm every wrestling type fan, but no disrespect, but Abyss, if you don't know, which I think all of y'all should know by now, I mean, come on, Abyss is nothing but a rip-off of Kane. Okay, see, the other day I heard some idiot say that Kane's a rip-off of Abyss. Like, no, dude, Abyss is a rip-off of Kane. But Abyss is not 100% rip-off of Kane. He's only 50%. The other 50% rip-off he is of Mankind. Because, see, if you look at Abyss, he has it's not exactly the same type of mask, but it's very similar to the mask Mankind wears. But Mankind's mask is leather, and Abyss' mask is not. And then if you look at the old Mankind, he had to cut off sleeves. You know, before he was Mrs. Foley Big Boy, he had to cut off sleeves, and Abyss got to cut off sleeves. You know, and Mankind, you know, he acted like 3 or 4 different guys. You know, he acted like he was he had a personality called Cactus Jack, where he was hardcore, the ECW dude, the Japan guy, and he was even in WCW for a minute. That's Cactus Jack. Then he had the Do Love character, who was like a hippie from the 70s and stuff, and was all about being cool. And then, you know, he had the Mankind character, which was a lunatic psycho, but he was like a crazy but weird at the same time. And then he had his Mick Foley character, where he was like a normal guy. He was a book author, he was like a commissioner. He wasn't really crazy, he was just a, you know, normal type guy. And so that's where Abyss gets the Joseph Parks character from. The Joseph Parks character is just like Mick Foley, man. They trying to act like they're not the same guy, you know. And at one time, you know, we knew Mankind was you know, Mick Foley, but you know, there was one time where like Mick Foley, he acted like, you know, he wasn't Cactus Jack and them like that, but we all knew it though. And then, so that's the difference between Abyss and Mankind. Now, why is Abyss Kane? See, Kane, he has the fire, you know. His fire always come out of the pyro. He always like trying to set people on fire. That was Kane's personality. And Abyss, he's the same way. He does the type of fire and everything. And then at times he's still the choke slam. Like, I know everybody does the choke slam, but come on now, Kane does it more than Abyss. And I seen Abyss do the choke slam a couple times. And then my thoughts on Abyss's Black Hole Slam, that's like a knockoff way of the choke slam, because they don't want it to be like Kane's. So they're like, okay, we spin them around and slam them. It'll be similar to like the choke slam and everything. And then another thing about Abyss and Kane is the fact that Abyss, he had a dad named James Mitchell, and in WWE, Kane's dad is Paul Bear, you know. So that's where the Paul Bear was original. And then, you know, I know James Mitchell was original, and he was in ECW managing other guys at one time, but as for being like the dad of the Monster, you know, that was completely a WWE ripoff right there. And then he had that Abyss had a brother, Junior Mata, whatever his name is, I don't even remember the dude's name, Judas Mata, something like that. He wrestled in AAA. He was kind of like acting like the Undertaker and crap, you know, another ripoff of what the WWE doing, since Undertaker and Kane supposed to be brothers. But see, here's the thing about the Joseph Park character. Everybody saying, oh, Kane acting like Joseph Park now because he coming out in a suit. Really? Just because the dude has a suit on is copying? Now, let me get this straight. So you telling me that if you were a wrestler and your friend had a mohawk and he was a wrestler and you decide to get a mohawk, you try to act like him now because y'all both got mohawks? No. Okay. See, Kane, he's a corporate man. Okay, Joseph Parks is a lawyer. What does corporate guys and lawyers do? They wear suits. That's their job. Any big time corporation or business in the world wears a suit. Okay, so the suit does, and because they both monsters, doesn't mean it's a copy, dude. And see, here's the difference. Another difference. See, Joseph Parks is not a real lawyer. He's a fake lawyer. Okay, his character in the storylines is supposed to be a lawyer. He's supposed to be Abyss's brother, but in real life he's not a lawyer, dude. And Kane is really a corporate man, you know. Like, if you go behind the scenes, dude, they said Kane is like very smart, dude. Like, this dude is so smart that, you know, Vince McMahon has already guaranteed him a corporate job when he retires in the company. So Kane is a corporate dude. He's always been a corporate dude. His character has been a monster, but Glenn Jacobs, the guy, Kane's real name, he's been a corporate dude, man. And he's been doing interviews and all types of stuff lately, doing political campaigns and stuff. You know, Kane's really a businessman. So Kane being corporate Kane is really a good thing, because basically Kane is being himself. You know, we never thought of Kane like that. We always thought of him being a monster. And don't get me wrong, okay? I like Kane as a monster, but you gotta admit, when after he lost to Cena, bro, after they made him job to Cena, well, not job, but lose to Cena, put Cena over, Kane went from being a monster to an embarrassment again. Like, he became an embarrassment again. Like, we thought he was back to the old self, but he was an embarrassment again. And so then he comes back as corporate Kane, and everybody's like, he ain't the monster no more, they're gonna kill his career. But when was the last time Kane was really the monster? Was when he lost to Cena, bro. That was the last time he was really the monster. Then he started coming out hugging people and stuff. But then when the Wyatt family beat him up, the old Kane, the Wyatt family would have never ran through him like that. Come on now. So corporate Kane is really Glenn Jacobs being himself. He's really a corporate guy behind the scenes. And I read the other day that he is now the director of operations for the corporation. That's his role. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, because from all the stuff I heard about Kane, about being behind the scenes, how he's a really smart guy, it's time for him to it's time for it to show. So and like The Rock, for instance, The Rock, like he said, when he first came in, he was just, you know, this Samoan dude or whatever he was supposed to be, and he sucked at it. But then one day Vince McMahon was like, you know what, I'm gonna let you be yourself. And what happened when The Rock became himself? He became the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. He became the people's champion. He became a 9-time WWE champion, world champion. He did it for just being himself. So imagine what Kane's gonna do now that he's himself. And plus, there were so many things that they couldn't do with Kane when he was the monster that they can do now. So I'm not gonna sit here and rain on corporate Kane yet, because I don't even, like I said, I don't even know what they're gonna do with him. But from what I heard, if Kane's really this cold, and from some of the interviews I've seen, this might work, dude. Like, it might actually work. Corporate Kane might work. I mean, we all used to seeing him as a monster, so that's why we're upset, and that's why it's gonna take us some time. But like I said, it's not no rip off of Joseph Parks. Kane is a real corporate man. Joseph Parks is not no lawyer. He's a fake. That's his character. He's not a real lawyer. And if people still think, oh, it's still a ripoff, who give a crap, okay? Because like I said, if you go back and clear all the bones anyway, Abyss was a ripoff of Kane from the start of his career anyway. So, you know, so we'll see what happens with corporate Kane. You know, we'll see what happens next week, and we'll see how long this goes. I'm out.